like a mountain stream and let your love go.
One of these songs was rejected by Neil Diamond himself. One of them was written for a man's wife, who barely reacted when she first heard it. Welcome back to the channel that goes back and digs deep.
Another sleepless night, it's the same old.
Today, 12 of the best-selling country songs of the entire 1970s. Every story is true, verified, and stranger than you'd expect. Let's get into it.
No, do you know you are my sunshine? And what you doing?
Number 12. Dave and Sugar, The Door is Always Open. Dave and Sugar's signature hit had already flopped twice before it ever reached them. The song was originally written by Bob McDill, who got stuck partway through and handed it off to fellow songwriter Dickie Lee to finish. The first recorded version, by a group called Tennessee Pullybone, limped to number 75 on the country chart in 1973. A second attempt by singer Lois Johnson in 1975 did barely any better, stalling at number 70. Dave Rowland, a formerly trained singer who'd previously toured backing Elvis Presley as part of the Stamps Quartet, had recently formed a new trio after being hired to open for Charlie Pride. He recruited two female backup singers, Jackie France and Vicky Hackeman, and the group became known as Dave and Sugar. Produced by Pride himself alongside Jerry Bradley, the trio recorded their own version of the twice-rejected song in January 1976. This time, it connected completely. Released that April, The Door is Always Open became Dave and Sugar's first #1 hit that July, making them just the second mixed-gender trio in history to top the Billboard country chart, following the Browns nearly 2 decades earlier. Sometimes nicknamed the Country ABBA for their tightly blended male-female harmonies, Dave and Sugar would go on to score 2 more #1 hits before the decade was out, all from a song 2 other artists had already tried and failed with first. Number 11. The Bellamy Brothers, Let Your Love Flow.
Grab you deep inside, send you real.
The Bellamy Brothers' breakthrough hit was turned down by Neil Diamond himself before it ever reached them. Songwriter Larry E. Williams was working as a roadie for Diamond in the mid-1970s when he wrote Let Your Love Flow, specifically with Diamond's voice in mind.
Now there's a reason.
He pitched it directly to his boss. Diamond passed. Singer Johnny Rivers turned it down too. Around that same time, brothers David and Howard Bellamy had relocated to Los Angeles, cutting demos using members of Diamond's own touring band, while the star himself was between tours. Diamond's drummer, Dennis St. John, remembered Williams's rejected song and thought it might actually suit the Bellamys instead. He passed the demo along to their producer, Phil Gernhard, who played it for David Bellamy the very next day. "I've got to play you this song," David told his brother Howard over the phone. They headed into Hollywood's Wally Heider recording studio with Diamond's own backing band and cut the entire track in just 2 or 3 takes. Released in January 1976, Let Your Love Flow became an enormous international smash.
Oh, the warm, sweet nights, and there's a reason for the
hitting #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and topping the charts in Austria, Canada, Germany, South Africa, and Switzerland. It remains the Bellamy Brothers' signature song and the launching point for a career that would eventually produce 26 top 10 country hits, built from a song the biggest star in the room had already said no to.
Through the moonlit nights with your lover.
Number 10. Eddie Rabbitt, Rocky Mountain Music.
Builds my memory.
Before Eddie Rabbitt ever became a star performer himself, he wrote one of Elvis Presley's biggest late career hits, and almost nobody realized it was the same guy.
She just died away, missing Papa.
In 1969, A struggling Nashville songwriter nearing 30 years old got a phone call that changed his life. Elvis Presley wanted to record his song, Kentucky Rain, as his next single. Rabbit later described the moment as feeling like even more than a dream. Released in 1970, it became a genuine hit for Presley, featuring a young session pianist named Ronnie Milsap, who Presley reportedly kept egging on in the studio, shouting, "More thunder on the piano, Milsap." Rabbit kept writing hits for other artists throughout the early 70s, including Pure Love, which became Ronnie Milsap's first ever #1 country hit in 1974.
Floor in the sunlight, play with the dust, the dance.
But Rabbit was determined to become a performer in his own right, and in 1976, he released his sophomore album, Rocky Mountain Music. The title track, a loose country rock celebration of mountain living,
Rocky Mountain music,
climbed to #5 on the Billboard Country Chart and topped the Canadian country chart entirely, following his first ever #1 hit, Drinkin' My Baby, Off My Mind, from the same album. The Brooklyn-born songwriter who'd once written hits anonymously for other people's careers had officially become a genuine country star in his own right, the beginning of a run that would eventually produce 15 #1 hits as a performer.
Rocky.
If you're locked into this one, most people scrolling past these songs have no idea what it took to make them. We digs that history back up, one record at a time. The subscribe button costs nothing, and it means you won't miss the next one.
Number 9, the Statler Brothers. Do You Know You Are My Sunshine? The Statler Brothers charted 26 separate country hits throughout the 1970s before they ever landed a single #1.
Searching every crowd for praise. She was gone just.
Discovered while opening for Johnny Cash's touring show in the 1960s, the Virginia-based vocal quartet, none of whom were actually named Statler, the name was borrowed as a joke from a tissue box in a hotel room, built one of the most consistent hit-making careers in the genre, without ever quite reaching the very top of the chart.
Do you know you are my sunshine? And what you doing?
Songs like Bed of Roses, Do You Remember These, and the Grammy-winning Class of '57 all became beloved fan favorites and top 10 hits throughout the decade, and the group racked up an unprecedented run of Country Music Association Vocal Group of the Year awards, winning it 6 years running from 1972 to 1977 alone.
And see her, I know just what I'm gonna say.
Then, in March 1978, they released Do You Know You Are My Sunshine, written by group members Dawn and Harold Reed. It became the Statler Brothers' 27th charting country single, and their very first to reach #1, holding that position for 2 weeks.
Sunshine, and it looks like you're always gonna be.
It also carries a bittersweet distinction. It remains the only #1 hit the group ever recorded with founding tenor Lou DeWitt, who left the group in 1982 due to health issues. 2 decades of steady, beloved success finally produced the group's first chart topper, from 4 guys who took their entire stage name from a box of Kleenex. Number 8, John Denver, Thank God I'm a Country Boy. John Denver's biggest country crossover hit was written by his own fiddle player, composed during a single overnight drive through the Rocky Mountains. John Martin Summers, a multi-instrumentalist in Denver's backing band, wrote the song on New Year's Eve 1973 while driving from his home in Aspen, Colorado, to Los Angeles. Denver recorded a studio version for his 1974 album Back Home Again, but it was a live rendition, captured on August 26, 1974, during the opening night of a 6-show sold-out stand at LA's Universal Amphitheater that truly caught fire. Released as a single from the resulting 1975 live album An Evening with John Denver, the song shot to #1 on both the Billboard Country Chart and the Billboard Hot 100 the very same year, becoming one of just 6 songs in 1975 to top both charts simultaneously. That same year, at the CMA Awards, Charlie Rich infamously set fire to the envelope containing Denver's name while announcing him as Entertainer of the Year, a public protest against what traditionalists saw as Denver being insufficiently country. The song's fiddle-heavy hook proved so enduring that the Baltimore Orioles baseball team began playing it during the 7th-inning stretch that same year. A tradition that continues today. Whenever the team has attempted to retire it, fans have demanded it back. Summers, the fiddle player who wrote it, spent roughly 4 years in Denver's band before quietly returning to a low-profile life in Aspen. Number 7. Don Williams, You're My Best Friend. Don Williams became known as country music's gentle giant, largely because of one song written by a nervous, first-time songwriter about his own marriage.
Most of all, you're my best friend.
Wayland Holyfield was a relative newcomer to Nashville's songwriting scene when he wrote You're My Best Friend with his wife Nancy, directly in mind. If you have a successful marriage, your spouse is usually your best friend, Holyfield later explained, the closest one you'll ever have.
Everything that I need.
He admitted feeling genuinely insecure about the song, uncertain whether it was strong enough to pitch to anyone at all, until Williams took an interest and worked alongside him to shape and polish the finished version.
Shelter from troubled winds.
Williams, a laid-back Texas-born singer with an imposing physical presence and an unhurried, warm baritone, recorded the song in early 1975 at Jack Clement Recording Studios in Nashville. Released that April as the title track of his 4th studio album, You're My Best Friend, became Williams's second-ever #1 hit on the Billboard Country chart that June.
An inspiration, you're always strong.
And crossed over internationally, topping Canada's country chart and cracking the UK Top 40. It marked the true beginning of a decades-long partnership between Williams and Holyfield, who went on to write dozens more songs for him, and cemented Williams's reputation as one of the genre's most understated, emotionally sincere performers of the entire decade.
When I'm hungry, you're...
Number 6. Emmylou Harris, Together Again. Emmylou Harris built her entire solo career out of grief, after the man who discovered her died of a drug overdose before she ever released a single solo album. Harris was performing in a small folk club in Washington, D.C., when Graham Parsons, the visionary country rock pioneer, first heard her sing and recruited her to duet with him on his solo records. Parsons died in September 1973, and Harris channeled her devastation into her 1975 solo debut, Pieces of the Sky, which included her original tribute to him, Boulder to Birmingham. For her follow-up album, 1976's Elite Hotel, Harris and her backing group, the Hot Band, recorded a cover of Buck Owens's 1964 classic, Together Again. Harris's delicate, piercing vocal interpretation transformed the song, and it became her very first #1 hit on the Billboard Country chart. The same album also produced a second #1 hit with her cover of Patsy Cline's Sweet Dreams, alongside multiple direct covers of songs from Parsons's own catalog, ensuring his musical legacy continued reaching audiences even after his death. Harris would go on to become one of the most respected interpreters in country music history, rarely writing her own material, but possessing an almost unmatched instinct for choosing exactly the right song and the right delivery for whatever she happened to be singing. Number 5. Ronnie Milsap, It Was Almost Like a Song. Ronnie Milsap became country music's first major blind superstar, and his biggest crossover hit was directly inspired and encouraged by one of the most influential musicians in American history, Born with a congenital disorder that left him almost completely blind,
We had such a
Millsap was sent at age 5 to the Governor Moorhead School for the Blind in Raleigh, North Carolina, where he spent the next 12 years immersed in classical training, learning violin, guitar, and eventually his favorite instrument, the piano.
like a song.
As a teenager, he formed a rock and roll band called the Apparitions and earned a full college scholarship to study pre-law. He turned it down entirely, choosing music instead, a decision he later credited directly to encouragement from soul legend Ray Charles.
And we were so
By the mid-1970s, Millsap had become the dominant male performer on country radio, scoring 7 consecutive '1 hits between 1976 and 1978 alone.
right where you belong.
In 1977, he released It Was Almost Like a Song, written by the legendary Hal David alongside Archie Jordan. It became his 8th #1 country hit, and remarkably, his very first single to ever cross over onto the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 16.
Now my broken heart.
While also reaching number 7 on the adult contemporary chart. The song won Millsap Album of the Year at the 1978 CMA Awards and later provided the title for his own autobiography, Almost Like a Song, cementing its place as the definitive song of his entire career.
Cries for you each night.
Number 4, Barbara Mandrell, Sleeping Single in a Double Bed. Barbara Mandrell was already a musical prodigy playing steel guitar on stage in Las Vegas at age 11, more than 15 years before her signature hit ever existed. Mandrell began reading music and playing accordion by age 5. At 10, she started steel guitar lessons, and after just a year of practice, her father brought her to a music trade convention in Chicago, where legendary guitarists Chet Atkins and Joe Mathis both took notice of the young prodigy. Mathis invited her to join his Las Vegas nightclub act, and by 13, Mandrell was touring nationally alongside Johnny Cash and Patsy Cline, sharing a hotel room with Cline since she was too young to room alone. She spent her teenage years earning the nickname the Princess of Steel, recognized as one of the most technically gifted instrumentalists in the entire genre, male or female. After years of steady but modest solo chart success, Mandrell released Sleeping Single in a Double Bed, written by Kai Fleming and Dennis Morgan, in August 1978. It was her 20th solo chart hit, and her very first to reach number 1, holding that position for 3 weeks that November, and eventually winning an American Music Award. The song helped launch Mandrell into the most successful stretch of her career, one that would soon make her the first person in history to win the CMA's Entertainer of the Year award twice.
Doubles alone, don't make it a party.
Number 3, Anne Murray, You Needed Me. Anne Murray's signature hit almost never existed at all. The songwriter who wrote it for his own wife crumpled it up and threw it away after she barely reacted to it.
Held me up and gave me
Nashville session pianist Randy Goodrum wrote You Needed Me with his wife directly in mind, only for her lukewarm response to leave him so discouraged that he genuinely discarded the song entirely.
I sold my soul.
It sat forgotten for roughly 7 years. Murray, meanwhile, was going through a genuine career slump in 1978, having gone 4 years without a real hit outside her native Canada while balancing new motherhood. Digging through a box of old demo tapes, she stumbled onto a cassette labeled Only with Goodrum's Name, no contact information anywhere on it.
Upon a pedestal.
Murray's producer, Jim Ed Norman, had to track Goodrum down by calling directory information, guessing he might still live in Nashville. Once Murray got him on the phone, She was so certain the song would be a massive hit that she personally called the president of Capitol Records at his home,
My own again, you put me high.
demanding he halt the already in progress pressing of her scheduled next single, So You Needed Me could take its place instead. Released in 1978, it became Murray's biggest hit ever and earned her the Grammy Award for Best Female Pop Vocal Performance, the first Grammy ever awarded to a Canadian artist in that category. Murray has said she needed multiple takes to record it properly because she kept breaking down in tears partway through.
Be a fool, 'cause I finally found.
Number 2. Waylon Jennings, Luckenbach, Texas. Waylon Jennings was tricked into recording one of the biggest hits of his entire career.
'Cause I got my song and I got you with me tonight.
And he genuinely hated it, even after it made him a legend. Songwriters Chips Moman and Bobby Emmons wrote Luckenbach, Texas, specifically to capitalize on the exploding outlaw country movement, deliberately name-dropping Jennings himself, alongside Willie Nelson, Hank Williams, and other genre icons directly in the lyrics.
Maybe it's time we got down to some basics.
Knowing Jennings's famously stubborn ego, Moman, who also happened to be his producer at the time, reportedly told him the song had already been promised to someone else, a tactic practically guaranteed to make Jennings want it instead. Neither the songwriters nor Jennings had ever actually set foot in the real Texas town before recording it.
Like the Hatfields and the
Jennings recorded the track in January 1977 at American Sound Studio. Willie Nelson wasn't even scheduled to be there that day. He simply dropped by unannounced and ended up contributing guest vocals on the spot.
Ain't nobody feeling no pain.
Jennings later admitted in his own autobiography, "I knew it was a hit song, even though I didn't like it, and still don't," reportedly complaining to his drummer that he'd now have to sing it, referring to himself in the third person every single night for the rest of his career. Released in April 1977, Luckenbach, Texas, spent 6 weeks at number 1.
Hank Williams playing songs, Newberry Strain songs.
Becoming one of the defining anthems of the entire outlaw country movement, and turning a real Texas town with a population of exactly 3 people into a permanent, worldwide pilgrimage site for country fans.
Like the Hatfields and the
Number 1. Willie Nelson, Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain. Willie Nelson's record label thought his most important album was nothing more than an unfinished demo tape, and it went on to become one of the best-selling country albums of the entire decade.
And through
By 1975, Nelson had already spent years as a respected Nashville songwriter, having penned Crazy for Patsy Cline and Hello Walls for Farron Young, but his own recording career had never matched that same success. After signing with Columbia Records and negotiating full creative control, Nelson recorded an entire concept album, Red-Headed Stranger, about a fugitive preacher on the run after killing his unfaithful wife and her lover, built almost entirely around nothing more than his own sparse guitar, piano, and drums.
Only memories remain.
When Nelson presented the finished album to Columbia executives, they were reportedly so unimpressed by its stripped-down sound that they initially assumed it was merely a rough demo, not a finished commercial record. Because Nelson's contract guaranteed him full creative control, the label had no choice but to release it exactly as delivered. The album's centerpiece, a haunting cover of Fred Rose's 1945 song Blue Eyes Crying in the Rain, reimagined as the fugitive preacher's memory of his lost love, was released as a single ahead of the album. It became Nelson's very first #1 country hit as a performing artist and won him a Grammy Award. Red-Headed Stranger itself went on to sell millions of copies, permanently establishing Nelson as a genuine superstar and giving him the nickname that would follow him for the rest of his career.
blue eyes.